The Canola School on RealAgriculture.com is brought to you by BASF Canada and Invigor Hybrid Canola.
Here with RealAgriculture.com. I'm back here today with another Canola School episode, and I have here with me Leighton Blashko, who is with BASF. Now we're in fall. However, as we have said, agronomy does not stop any time of the year. What are some of the considerations you're going to want to keep in mind heading into next year?
Yeah, well, I was thinking about this, Kara, and I think you summed it up correctly, that agronomy doesn't stop. You know, the crop is for the most part in the bin now, and producers are, taking stock of what they have and how things went, but they're always thinking about what they need to do to set things up for next year. So sort of for me, the way I think of things is probably the 5 W's of planning your next year's canola. So the who, what, why, where, and when. So maybe, of course, the who, well, that's pretty obvious. If you're growing a canola crop, you're making those decisions, you're the decision maker, you're the person going to be deciding this. Sometimes there's other who people involved. So sometimes you have an agronomist, other times you might have your retailer involved for sure. Maybe there's custom seeder that you're going to be hiring. Those kind of the people you're starting to think about at this time of year for next year. So then the what, well, that's the next W. The way I think about it right now is, well, the what is you need to decide what kind of canola you're going to grow. So first of all, you're probably thinking about canola from a few different perspectives. Growers decide about a herbicide tolerance system, what they've been growing. They think about rotation, so they may want to rotate one system to another. They also think about disease. I know in a lot of parts of Western Canada, clubroot is becoming more and more of a concern. So if you're considering clubroot resistant hybrids, you need to decide whether you're considering a first generation hybrid or whether it's time for you to move to a second generation hybrid. So, at BASF, we have a flow chart to help you with those decisions to decide whether it's time to maybe switch to a second generation clubroot resistance package. So those are some of the things as far as, the disease part of it. But then, of course, there's other agronomic factors like the standability. You've just come through harvest. Maybe it was a very lodged crop that you went through in some fields. Maybe it was not a very high lodging year. But if you're thinking about certain fields that are typically more prone to lodging, you want to think about what hybrid can you evaluate or look at some resources to say, look, is this going to be a better hybrid or a poorer hybrid for lodging? And then the other thing from the what is, what is the yield? So there's all sorts of sources of information out there. We're proud of our, our invigorresults.ca website. That's where we have all our replicated farmer-run trial results. So those are across Western Canada. Every other company has those as well. Those are good sources to get information as to how did things perform. So that's the what, W. Now the why, well, of course, hopefully as you're doing things to make a profit, a good return on investment. Farming, we've got, there's a lot of decisions that go into the why. Why should I put canola here? Is it the right rotation? Have I had enough years between canola crops? Those sorts of decisions. Now the where, that's another important part. For me, I think, where involves a lot of things. Field selection. Are we have the right conditions in that field? Is the moisture adequate? Is the surface residue or the straw cover uniformly spread? So that's something we can do now in the fall. We can do things like that in the fall. We can do maybe some heavy harrowing, maybe some vertical tillage. There's a few different things for residue management that growers often look at, and this is the time of year to probably take advantage of a little bit of a lighter workload for that to be a consideration. Now, other things about the where is, where did you have canola before? Where are there weed problems that you might have? Or even getting more granular for the where might be, where did you place your canola seed this year? Were you happy with the depth? If you targeted 3/4 of an inch, And you can look at things and you saw your establishment, were you happy with the depth that you achieved? So all of these mental notes you've collected through the fall or through the summer and the whole growing season into the fall can now come into place planning for next year. And then I guess the last thing we want to look at is how. Well, you know, there's the how. I think putting this all together puts it into a nice package, and that should set you up for success.